Welcome back to Wanderlusting Lawyer. Today I will be talking to you about the bathroom situation on the Camino de Santiago francés. Specifically, where do I go to the bathroom while I'm walking the Camino? This was something that I had questions about before I started the Camino, and there was some helpful information I found online and blogs and in some of the guidebooks I had looked at. But there is nothing quite like someone's firsthand experience in answering a question like this. So hopefully I can give you guys some good info and some tips so that you don't need to be kind of apprehensive about this situation going into it. Essentially, there are three main places you'll be able to go to the bathroom on the Camino. One is, of course, at your albergue or hotel, or wherever you might be staying. Sometimes, so let's say you're in a shared room. Obviously, if you're in a private room, in general, you will have a bathroom inside a room. Not always, though. I did have a private room in Samos that was much cheaper because it had a shared bathroom, but I was the only one on my floor, so it was kind of like my own bathroom. But if you are in shared rooms, sometimes the bathroom will be inside the room, and sometimes it'll be outside. Sometimes it'll be organized by gender. Other times it'll just be mixed. Everyone can come and use it as they please. I know the first couple of days, Horizon and Roncesvalles, those are both, there are women's restrooms and men's restrooms. So I guess maybe at the start of your Camino, that's a nice way to ease into it. Often, something that's interesting is that often the toilets and the showers are separate. So that's nice because it means that you get a little bit more privacy and more people can be doing their routine without taking up as much space. As for, on that subject of privacy, as for curtains for showers, I personally never experienced a situation where there were no curtains on the showers. I only heard about that once at the albergue in Ocebreiro, that it was kind of just a big open space, but it was by gender, so women and men only. But that wasn't something that I faced, and I would imagine that that's something that you can find pretty easily if you search, albergues on the Camino with communal bathrooms, no curtains. And then this may seem obvious, but bring your own stuff into the bathroom: shampoo, soap, maybe even Kleenex or toilet paper. I had a pretty good experience with there generally being toilet paper available, but it isn't always. So it's good to have it if you need it. And a note on toilet paper, especially for people who haven't traveled outside the US or maybe Canada before. There are a lot of, the plumbing is really old, can be very old over there. And there are places, it goes without saying, don't flush anything nature did not make down the toilet. Often that includes toilet paper. Here in the US, we just assume we can always flush toilet paper down the toilet. In Europe, there will be places that ask you not to, and they'll include a little waste basket next to the toilet. So for us, that may seem unsanitary and weird, but over there, it's very common. So be on the lookout for that. You don't want to be the person that, causes a bathroom to stop working when you have 20 other people waiting. So the second place that you'll be able to use restrooms on the Camino is cafes, bars, restaurants, various places like that you may come across as you're walking day to day. In general, they're pretty frequent. You see them a lot. There will be your guidebook or your app. I highly recommend the Wise Pilgrim app. That's what I used. I knew when there were going to be long stretches without any cafes or restaurants, so I would know to take advantage when I was in a town with one. That'll tell you where they are. And an important point on this: please support the Camino infrastructure when you stop to use the restroom by buying something. It can be as small as a cafe con leche, which will never cost you more than €2. It could be some gum, it could be a pastry, but try to plan it out so if you can, so that you're supporting these places that support us. Just a good rule to live by. And the third option is essentially on, or better yet, off the trail if you just have no other option. There are no porta potties on the Camino Frances, at least there weren't in the summer of 2018 when I was walking. So if there isn't an establishment to go in, maybe in a few of the bigger cities, there were public restrooms, but in general, you're not going to see anything like that. So there may be times when you need to just duck yourself off the trail, look for a tree, look for a place with a little bit of privacy, and just use nature's restroom. For men, that tends to be pretty easy. For women, you'll want to have toilet paper or Kleenex with you if you won't be shaking it like the guys. But a word on that, please have a Ziploc bag with you and pack your toilet paper, and then, throw it away when you get a chance. I won't say much about the biodegradability of toilet paper, but it's everywhere on the trail on the side, and it looks really gross. And so I don't understand why, this is tough for people. Just whatever you use, just pack it in a bag. Don't leave it out there. And so really that's all I have to say. One more note on, I guess, something related to this question is a little note on digestive health on the Camino. This is something I was very nervous about. I've lived in Spain before. I've always had a pretty tough time at restaurants finding the same type of, I guess, quality vegetable options you'll find in the States. You'll always find a salad, but it tends to be very, very light green lettuce, onions, tuna, and egg, and maybe some carrots. That's the traditional Spanish salad. You won't see sides of broccoli. You won't see, green beans. Some of these things that we just take for granted here in the States. So if you think that could cause a problem for your digestion, I would highly recommend bringing fiber pills, or also planning on at least doing some cooking, or if not cooking, some shopping at the local markets and supermarkets to pick up the fresh fruit and veggies that you'll need. And then the other thing that I would recommend, just because I guess I can't say if it worked, but I never got sick, so I'm convincing myself it worked, is a probiotic. I took one called Dr. Formula's Nexabiotic, Nexabiotic. I had just done a lot of research and tried to figure out what were the probiotics that were the best at preventing travelers' upset stomach, if you will. And I found that this one, it did not require refrigeration, which was perfect for the Camino. And it had specific strains of probiotic that had been most linked to preventing travelers' upset stomach. So that is my other piece of advice. And as always, if you have any additional thoughts or any questions, drop a comment below. Please hit a like if you like the video, and I hope you guys are subscribed so that you can see when I have new videos coming out. As always, also please leave suggestions if there's stuff you'd like for me to talk about. Thanks. Buen camino.